Alright, so let's get into this reversible swim rash guard. So this is fully reversible, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a hack today. So right now I've got one already sewn up. It's just one of the short sleeve tie back, but it's fully reversible and has a placket option. I do just have this clipped and ready to put buttons on. So it does have a plaque option, and it's still fully reversible. With that option. So I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to sew the rash guard with this add-on, or with this hack. Okay, so I've gotten to one of the locations I'm going to have the placket, and before I cut this, I am going to be doing the one shoulder strap option, so I have that one up right this second. But you have this line for where the front and the back connect so that you don't have to cut that off if you're just doing the normal rash guard. If you're doing the normal rash guard, you don't have to cut that. If you're doing directional fabric, you can cut that so that the direction stays face up and face up instead of face up and face down. So I am going to be cutting about an inch below this line whenever I cut this little section out. And I have to do that for the inside fabric and for the outside fabric for both layers for it to be reversible. To make sure that I cut them for the same amount for both of them, I am just going to cut one and then lay it on top of the other to make sure I get the exact amount on both. Right, as you can see, I did about an inch past where that line is. And then I did go ahead and mark my notch for where I'm going to have my strap, since I'm doing the one strapped version. And then I'm going to have the same on the inside fabric. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the other side of this, right sides together, so that I have that all done, and then I will come back and show you the back of it. And I do just do the same thing. Here's the line, I go about an inch. So here's the bottom pieces. You can see there's the line for where the crotch would be aligned, and for my placket I went about an inch further than that. So, and that was them facing down as the pattern does it. Here's them front side up. So my lining will match. I'm going to lay this on top, right sides together, and cut my lining out. And then if you were to do this with your own regular pattern, yet again, I don't want you to be confused. You do not have to cut right there. You just cut as normal and follow the instructions for part of my tutorial. So be right back after I get it all cut out so that I can show you all my pieces together. While cutting, I was about to cut out the stabilizer that I'm using for placket. I just used a piece of cotton. So I'm just laying it underneath the placket to make sure it fits perfectly, and then I'll cut out around where it's at so that it fits whenever I go to sew it on. So I just do two of these. I use a serger, so this will cut off easily. If you use a sewing machine, you can just cut it a little bit larger than you need it and cut off the excess when you're done. But I'll just cut two of those, one for the back side and one for the front side. And I'll show you how I sew that in as well whenever we get to that. I'm going to finish cutting these pieces out and lay them out for you and just... Okay, so I've got it all cut out right now. So I've got, since I'm doing the one shoulder strap, I do have my strap, just the one, my two sleeves inside and out, and then one of the sides, since I'm doing the one shoulder strap, I do just need one side that has just the back piece, and then one side that has the shoulder piece. And I already have my spots marked. And then my front side, and I have the little placket piece for my little interfacing, and then our section that we cut out about an inch longer, and then my back side, which I also cut out about an inch longer. So, got all my pieces ready. one thing to note is that I do only use my serger for this. You can use your sewing machine. Just make sure you're using the appropriate stitch and stitch lengths. You can use elastic for this. Elastic is optional, especially at the leg bands and at the back band. It fit my daughter pretty well without using any elastic, so I will not be using any elastic today. So I'm going to show you how to do the placket piece. That is going to be one of the longer little cut sections, I guess, because I'm going to have to finish my seams, or finish my edges. So I'm going to go ahead and do a serge on the inside little pieces so that they don't come unraveled over time, like in the wash and stuff, because these are going to be just kind of sitting there on the inside, whereas the sides are going to be sewn together, and sewn together. So I'm going to do those parts. I'm going to go ahead and put together all the pieces that I can as I go. Okay, so what I just did was I serged this end, and then I didn't mean to do that to these ones, but I was in the groove with this one and went ahead and did it with this one on accident. It doesn't matter. So all you need to do for this one is just serge that piece that's going to be going on top of this piece, because what we're going to do for this one is we will go ahead and put, and also when you do put this together, make sure it's on one of the inside pieces. We're going to lay these right sides together, and we're going to go ahead and sew down the leg across where our placket's going to be, up the side and up this side of the leg. We're going to leave these sides open and sew on the top. Then for this one, you do need to have this piece serged down, or however you would usually finish an edge on a sewing machine. So have that piece done, and then on the outside of your other piece, have your interfacing with one side done and serged or sewn to the end of the placket area for that side. So this side does need to be attached like so, where it's connected like this, because when we sew this piece on, we will only be sewing the leg seams. This will not be sewn, just right here will be sewn, and we won't be sewing the sides until a little bit later in our steps. Just like it does in the regular tutorial without this hack, you do wait to do the side seams until you have everything ready. It's the last thing you do before you pull it right side out. Okay, so here's where we're at. So all of this is left unsewn. I have my legs sewn right sides together, but this is left unsewn. So you can see I have where I did my stitching to make sure that my ends were finished. That comes in handy later. So I have that done, and then I have my ends tied. My legs are sewn, my sides are not. And then for my back side, that is sewn together. The sides, the legs, are sewn together as well, and the back is sewn together. So if you were doing the normal version, you would leave a little section in the back to turn it right side out. But since we're doing the placket version, I just pull it through the sides. So pull it right side out. Make sure you get the placket area nice and neat. Push through right. Just kind of push on the edges a little bit to make sure I get them out enough. Now, my back side is done. Okay, so my back side's done, and it's ready for whenever we do the side seam. All I do is tuck it in here, pin it down, and then whenever I sew up my side seam, it's just as if it was the same as the instructions. It just won't be attached down here. That's all. So now I'm ready to go ahead and follow the instructions for a little bit. The instructions go through sewing this shoulder seam together and then putting on our shoulder. Or sorry, not putting on the shoulder seams together. It goes through us going ahead and doing the right sides together of our pieces. So I'm going to put my right side together of this shoulder seam, because this is the outside, sorry, apologize. So I'm going to go through one piece at a time, put my shoulder seam together, put my matching sleeve on right there, and then go through the instructions on what to do for the strap. So right the second, I'll go ahead and put my shoulders on and my sleeves on, and I will come back to show you what it looks like so far. I'm going to do that to this side and to my other side. So just treat them as two separate pieces, and it helps and makes a lot more sense. So my polka dot is one piece, my cookies are the other piece. So I'm going to do my polka dots separately and my cookies separately, just to go ahead and put on the shoulder and the sleeve, and I will be back. Okay, so now here's where we're at, where I need to put on the side strap, because like I said, I'm doing the one shoulder with the strap. Mine just does it a little bit differently than yours will if you're doing the two shoulders. If you're doing the two shoulders, you just repeat the same that you did with the one shoulder. So I'm going to be taking this one and do right sides together, and I'm still going to stay with just one side at a time. So I've got my other side right here. Do right sides together, pick which one is my fabric. This one's my fabric. And I do have my marks from where I marked where my strap needs to go, so I know that that's the top. And then right sides together, and you're just supposed to stitch down just like 1.5 inches, 2 inches, to ensure that it's attached before you go through and do all of the neckband sewn together with the lining. So I'm just going to attach these side pieces, right sides together, about 1.5 inches down. Okay, so I have these laid right sides together so that you could see my neckline. Sorry, for some reason my video cut off there, but I'll use this drawstring threader. Probably a ton of easier ways. This is just what I use. It just pulls right through. Usually it goes a lot faster than that. This thing just got stuck for a second. So I just leave my end really long to be able to do that. I go ahead and knot this end, and I do make a little knot on this end so that it doesn't, so that it has something to grip onto a little bit better. And then when I'm done with that, I just cut off that tail because I don't need it anymore. So got my strap done. So now I can go ahead and pin it where I need it in here. And I do have my marks notched. So I'm going to pin it where the right sides are meeting in here before I start. All right, and now what I'm going to do is just starting down here. I'm going to go up and around, all the way up around this one, and stop at that point. So starting here, we're starting here. Down, around, all the way around, all the way around, and stop. So I'm just going to go serge that together. Make sure you don't let these slip through. Those are really easily lost whenever you have layers, especially with swim. So I don't pin any more than that, just making sure those stay where they are at. You could always go around and pin as much as you need. There's no limit to how much you pin. I sometimes go through and pin my starting and stopping points so that I know that those are where I'm trying to get to and that I don't forget and just keep going. So I'm going to do that part, and then we'll move to putting the sleeves together for our next step. Okay, so I am back. You can see this part's a little bit wavy. I had to fix where I put my strap and I accidentally pulled a little bit right there. But I did turn it inside out to see if you could tell, and you couldn't, so I'm gonna leave it. But I connected my sleeves, so all I did was I have my right sides together right here, and my sleeves laid on top of each other, so just like I did my necklines with my lining and my outer on top of each other, I connected my sleeve, I connected my sleeve together. So now is when we turn these pieces right side out and have them tucked in so that we can sew up our side seam all the way down. Okay, so I have them right side out now. So here's one strap. I'm just going to tuck it in towards out of the way. And I'm going to be honest, this part kind of confused me until I started visualizing where the pieces would be ending up. So like this needs to be on the side for it to tie in the back. So it lays down sandwiched in between the right sides together because it's going to be the side. So I'm just going to pin that real quick. I'll have to adjust it after I get the bottoms, the back side, the bottoms in, but there's that. And then this side, turn a little bit more so you can see a little better. This side, same thing. So I have this turned right side out, just untucked my tie. So here is the sleeve, and here's where that tie is going to be. So that tie, just like the other side, should line up. If I tuck in, let me try to zoom just a little bit. There we go. If I tuck in, woo, sorry guys, this is my sleeve. So here's my two sleeve pieces. If I tuck this in, all of these sleeve underarm pieces should line up. So here's that tie. I have it laid between my two pieces, right sides together. And then here's my two sleeves. You can see that they're right sides together with the correct side. Okay, and then all of these pieces are the underarm piece. Okay, so whenever I pin these to make it a little less bulky, I'll put one seam going one way, and then the next seam I'll put going the other way. Okay, so then it'll sandwich like that. One seam going one way, one seam going the other way. Okay, and then again with the next one, goes the other direction. And then the last one goes the opposite direction as well. And then just try to make sure those are lined up, because with swim, it's very slippery. It's hard enough to make sure these seams line up as it is without using swim fabric. So make sure that's all lined up. Pin that, and then I'll just trim this so it's out of my way. And then come down here to the sleeves and make sure that it is all the way down. Bring it out just a little bit so that you can see your layers. And then we'll pin that too. And if you are doing the normal bathing suit, you'll do that to the other side as well. That's also what you do for the long sleeve version. This is the short sleeve. So you'll do that for both of them. So if you see, here's my shoulder, here's my lining and my outer, and you can see like a little tunnel there. It's going into this little tunnel. This is my tie right here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out again. Okay, so here's that tie piece. So I can go ahead and lay it flat right here and pin where that will be going. Okay, so those are all pinned in. Now I can tuck in my bottoms. Make sure, again, that you're doing the correct print with the correct direction that you're wanting it. So I want my cookies and my cookies to touch, so I'm going to flip this over, and then I'm going to channel this through. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pin the bottom pieces together and get this top piece pinned in right here with my ties on both sides. So I'll get that pinned down and then I'll explain sewing it up. All right, so here is what we are working with over here. So for the one shoulder piece, I suggest starting with the bottom so that you can make sure that these pieces hit exactly down here. If you're having to stretch any and then this gets shifted up, then you're going to miss it and it's not going to line up right. So I do suggest starting with the bottom. For the side with your sleeves, what I do is I will start with this side and I'll come down midway and then just flip to the other side and start from the bottom and come back up. That way I can ensure this part lines up and this part lines up perfectly. All right, so we've got the sides sewn up, got where the tie and the back bottom pieces are connected. Everything's good to go. You can see there's like a little pocket right here that goes through. So this end piece that we had started on where we left it open and we ended our, or we serged our edges to make sure they were all finished. We're going to be pulling through this hole. So you will want to grab from one of the far ends. So cute. Boom, ready for the beach. First, let's finish up this. So I'm gonna zoom in. Sorry about my nails. I apologize. Okay, so for this placket, so we've serged our edges to finish our edges. So we're going to tuck it in that. So it just folds straight in. And then I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine and top stitch this down. You can use the hand sew method with the ladder stitch so that it's just an invisible stitch. You can use your cover stitch and go across it. However would work best for you, for whatever way you would usually do this kind of closing method, kind of like what you would do for like a plushie. So I'm just going to straighten that out, pin it down, head over to my sewing machine, and this is the, it's a crotch placket, so it's not really going to be seen. So I'm just going to use a white thread probably and go across that little piece. You could go through and top stitch a little section so that it's more secure if you're wanting to do that. But I am just going to do that little piece, and then I'm going to find 2 buttons that I like the colors of, and I'm just going to put, I'll show you how I put those. All right, so grab my buttons. I have just these cam snaps off of Amazon. They're not cam ones, they're off-brand ones. I got these at the very beginning of my sewing journey, and I've had them for a very long time, and I still have a ton. So grab 4 of these pieces, 2 male and 2 female, and then just pick a side and make that be the one where you have it on the outside. Pick the other side, make that be the one that you have it on the inside. So, oh, and I got that sewn together. So I poked it through. If you have nails, you can wiggle it down with your nails. If you don't have nails, you can use something sharp to help you push it down. Then you decide if this is going to be the male or the female side. Just go ahead and put the female piece on here. Push it on. Take your pliers. Make sure it's on there, make sure it's centered, push firmly, and there you go. So do that to this side as well using the other female piece. And then opposite, we'll put the main piece through this side for this one and put the male pieces here so that they can button together. All of it's done. Excited to go to the splash pad now with her adorable new swimsuit. Let me know if you have any questions, if I can clarify any parts of the instructions, or anything else that I might have missed about it. I wish I had more to tell you about doing the normal option. Of course, with the normal option, you would just have the little seam back here that you could ladder stitch close or just leave it. Whenever I did, because I did this one out of DVP, whenever I did, not that one, when I did her other one, wherever it went, I just left it open in the back. It didn't bother me any, and you couldn't tell at all. So that's it. That's all. So excited. Let me know what if you test this out, especially if you test the hack. But let me know if you test out the swimsuit, if you are as excited as I am to have some summer fun, because this is going to be so cute. Love this one shoulder. I was kind of hesitant about if I would like it. She's 2, but she's going to be adorable in it. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for this sew along. This is my second one. Please always leave me suggestions on what you would prefer to see in the next one. And thank you for having me. Bye.